Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Kevin Chapman, and I'm with the School District of Manatee County, and welcome to the Be the Key breakfast. Thank you for joining us, not just for breakfast, but for something far more important, a shared vision for a stronger, healthier community. It's an honor to MC Turning Point's Be the Key breakfast this year. The school district is very excited to partner with Turning Points to bring their vital services and resources directly to families in the Palmetto community. The partnership we've been working towards together is now ready to launch. In January, the school district and Turning Points will begin an 18-month pilot that places Turning Point staff at our Family Support Center at Lincoln Memorial Middle School, serving families from 2 Palmetto area schools. And this morning we have our 2 principals from those 2 Palmetto schools here joining us for breakfast. This space, this Family Support Center, already houses our Office of Student Assignment, Take Stock in Children, and several other nonprofit partners and more nonprofits soon to be. Having Turning Points embedded within this hub will allow families to access critical resources and support in a convenient location already connected to their school community. This truly will be a game changer for the families in Palmetto. This is a clear example of why Turning Points is so important to our community, especially as we face so many challenges like chronic absenteeism in our schools, rising ALICE numbers, and mental health issues. By addressing a broad spectrum of needs, Turning Points changes lives, strengthens the community, and provides essential hope and help to Manatee County's most vulnerable residents. Turning Points brought their entire staff here this morning to be a part of this inspiring celebration, and I'd like them to stand so that we can recognize their commitment with a well-deserved round of applause. So Turning Point staff, I know is here, and in the back there. This year is a milestone for Turning Points, as 2025 marks 30 years of Turning Points serving our community. 3 decades of providing hope, stability, and life-changing services. As part of marking the 30th year, we've been reaching out to people they once served to see where life has taken them. This is one of those stories. So please welcome Jessica Goffrey on the stage to share one of those stories. So Jessica. There's Jessica. There she is.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jessica Godfrey, and I had the honor of helping Dana Welch and her daughter Latasha when they came to Turning Points in 2022. Before her stroke, Dana was a licensed practical nurse, a hardworking woman who cared for others for a living. And then at age 53, she had a massive stroke, and everything changed. She was left partially paralyzed with speech challenges and unable to return to work. Before long, Dana was living in her SUV, and her daughter Latasha, she'd been living in Tampa, and she had to leave her job and gave up a college scholarship and moved home to care for her mom. They lived in the SUV together, doing meal deliveries in order to get food and pay for gas. And at night, they parked wherever they could that they felt like it would be a safe place and not be noticed. They came to Turning Points for showers, food, and help, and that's when I met them. They were exhausted, worried, and trying desperately to get help. we got to work. We secured a disability voucher for Dana and seasons of sharing assistance to cover her first month's rent. Not long after, Dana and Latasha found a 2-bedroom duplex with a yard, a stable place where they could finally focus on their health and their futures. And once they had stability, everything changed. Dana started physical therapy and fought her way forward with determination, gratitude, and so much joy. For those of you who were at this event 2 years ago, you may remember Dana. She was up on this stage sharing her story. A few months ago, she came by Turning Points to give us an update, walking with a cane instead of a walker, smiling from ear to ear. And Latasha was right there beside her. This morning, we'd like to share a video message from Dana and Latasha with all of you.
Hi, my name is Dana, and I just want to thank you for all the help that you've given us in the past. You guys helped us with stable housing and all the things we needed to prepare ourselves for the future. And it's so amazing that you have helped in an awesome way that you have provided for my daughter to fulfill her dreams.
And as of now, since we've received all this great help and just a stepping stone in life, I'll be able to enlist in the Army. And I'm very excited.
And you're supposed to go in when you're supposed to start in
April 13th is the exact date.
Yes, yes. And it's all because of you guys. And I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And I'm trying not to cry. But that's how deep my gratitude goes for you guys helping us. So thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
I'm so excited that Dana and Latasha are here with us today. Can you guys please stand? Latasha, would you please join me on stage? We are so excited and proud of you that you're going to get to live your dream by joining the Army and that your mom's going to be able to join you on this journey. We have a package for you and your mom. Let's hold them up.
Oh my
This is for your mom,
I love that.
a proud Army mom. This one's for you if you want to pull it out. And we have a gift certificate and a gift certificate here as well to get you guys started off on your journey. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Dana and Latasha, we all wish you the best of luck and happy holidays, and go Army. 30 years of changing lives is only possible because of partners like you. Let's take just a moment to thank the people who made today happen. First are our table captains. Thank you for bringing such a great group together, support Turning Point. So thank you to all the table captains who you're about to meet in a moment, or a little later in the program. So thank you, table captains. We also want to recognize our Be the Key Society members. And I believe they're going to be shown on the screen here. These 120 individuals and couples have committed to 5 years of support, helping to keep Turning Points strong and steady. So we are truly grateful. Thank you, Be the Key Society members. To our elected officials and representatives here this morning, thank you for being here and for your partnership in this important work. I see many of our county officials, our school board, our mayors and city council folks, so thank you, and commissioners from other cities. So thank you. It's very well represented here. So thank you for all the elected officials. And a special thank you to our title sponsor, the Charles and Marjorie Barancik Foundation. I know Omar and a few are here from the foundation, so thank you to the Barancik Foundation. Joining them in sponsorship of this year's event are the Manatee Community Foundation and the Community Foundation of Sarasota County. Your generosity helps ensure every dollar raised today goes directly to Turning Point services. So thank you to Barancik, the Manatee Community Foundation, and the Community Foundation of Sarasota County. So thank you. The Charles and Marjorie Barancik Foundation continues to invest deeply in our community here in Manatee County, and their extraordinary support this year powers our new pilot program called Connected Manatee with the school district. And now to share more about the realities families are navigating and why partnerships like Connected Manatee matter, please join me in welcoming Superintendent Dr. Lori Breslin.
Good morning. Thank you, Kevin. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. By supporting Turning Points, you are supporting this great community, and when you support our community, you support the students of the School District of Manatee County. When you support our students, you support our future. Today marks a truly inspiring moment for Manatee County. I can stand here and tell you about our academic accomplishments, and I can expound on our district goals in relation to student learning. However, we all know none of this happens without supporting the basic needs of families. Thanks to the extraordinary generosity of the Barancik Foundation, Turning Points has received funding to bring a first-of-its-kind pilot program to life. Together, we are creating a Turning Points Resource Center right on the campus of Lincoln Memorial Middle School, serving the families of Lincoln Memorial, Palmetto Elementary, and our Project Heart students with direct support to prevent homelessness and financial hardship. Over the past few months, we have been transforming the building across from our Office of Student Assignment. New paint, new flooring, new furniture, technology, and an entirely new purpose. This collaboration between a foundation, a nonprofit, and our school district is special, and to do it here in Palmetto is nothing short of game-changing for this wonderful community. We know that when a family struggles, a child's ability to learn is at risk. Right now, 634 of our students are registered as Project Heart students. These children are navigating unstable housing and uncertainty. Connected Manatee, our new pilot program, is designed to change that. Beginning in January, Turning Points professionals will be on campus ready to help families with rental assistance, enrolling in Medicaid and SNAP, securing food, clothing, school supplies, and transportation. Navigators will help families map out a plan and make sure they're connected to the right resources and services across the community. And all this will happen where parents already are, their kids' school. This partnership shortens the distance between asking for help and receiving it. It gives our teachers and staff one clear pathway to connect families to support. And it ensures that families, including eligible districts employees, can access services without navigating a maze of agencies and traveling across the county. Connected Manatee is more than a pilot program, it's a promise that in Manatee County, no child and no family will face hardship alone. Together, we are building a stronger, more compassionate community, one that lifts students up, stabilizes families, and keeps learning at the center. To our elected officials, community partners, and business leaders, thank you for celebrating with us today, and thank you for believing in what we can accomplish together.
Thank you, Dr. Breslin. Now, while you enjoy the rest of your breakfast, we'd like to share a special video that highlights the impact we've all made together. Please enjoy. As we reflect on this milestone year for Turning Points, it's clear that strong leadership has guided every step. At the heart of Turning Points is a leader deeply committed to innovation, collaboration, and making sure every person who walks through the doors is met with compassion and support. Please welcome Turning Point's Executive Director, Kathleen Kramer.
Little height distance. Jasmine is a 34-year-old single mom of 3, a woman you might pass in the grocery store or at the school pickup line and never know the battle that she's been fighting. She survived things that no one should have to endure. She was sex trafficked, she was beaten, and she endured trauma that is truly unspeakable. If you'd met her last year, you would have seen somebody who was abrasive, guarded, difficult. But what looked like attitude was really just armor. When the school district's Project Heart program referred her to us, she and all 3 of her children were sleeping in their car. Think about that. 3 little kids doing their homework by dome light, sleeping upright, trying to stay fed and clean, while their mom did the very best she could to protect them. When Jasmine was accepted into the Home Again program, the first thing we did was get them into a hotel. Somewhere safe, somewhere quiet, somewhere they could breathe and recollect. Then we moved them into housing, a full year of security, with shared rent that increases gradually as she gets her footing back. But housing's only the beginning. We set goals, we coach, we hold people accountable, and we show up with a whole lot of love, even when there's difficult conversations to be had. Especially when there's difficult conversations to be had. Her walls didn't come down all at once, but day by day you could see a shift in her confidence, in her hope, in her belief that maybe her life didn't have to be defined by her past. Jasmine is not the face that most of you would imagine when we say the word homeless, but it is in fact the reality. Less than 20% of people experiencing homelessness are the chronically homeless individuals you might picture living on the street. The vast majority are moms, kids, seniors, and working people, people whose hours were cut, people who got sick, people who didn't have savings or family to catch them when their life started to fall apart. Those are the people that Turning Point serves every day. For 30 years, Turning Point has walked beside individuals and families in crisis. But the future, the next 30 years, requires us to go even further. Turning Point has always been a prevention organization. The majority of our work keeps families housed, safe, and stable long before homelessness begins. And now we're doubling down in that commitment and taking prevention upstream. We want to meet families earlier, when crisis is still preventable, before eviction happens, before a child has to sleep in a car, and before trauma has a chance to take root. And now with Connected Manatee, we're bringing that prevention directly to the schools, giving families earlier access to support, and helping children stay focused and secure. Connected Manatee is our first ever satellite location. For the first time, we are moving off our campus and into the community, meeting families right where they are. Teachers will be able to make a single referral. Families can access support without the stigma of going to a homeless services agency. And children can stay focused on learning, not survival. Because when you stabilize a family, you stabilize a child's future. And that impact is generational. We've already seen what happens when the right support happens at the right time. Not long ago, we had a woman named Deborah who came to our free medical clinic after years of struggling with her health. She was working, but uninsured, made just too much for Medicaid, but not enough to cover all of the care that she really needed. She came in ready to make change, and she did. She got to work. In just 9 months, she lost 50 pounds. Both her diabetes and hypertension were under control, and we were able to ensure that she was able to receive all of her medications at no cost. But the part that meant the most to her, she's a mom, and she now has the health and energy to show up for her children in a way she couldn't before. And then there's a mom who wore a mask long before COVID. It wasn't for health reasons. It was because she was so embarrassed of her teeth. After receiving full dental care and a beautiful new smile, she said something that really stuck with me. This was 4 years ago, and I still tell it on every tour because it touched my heart. She realized that she had been teaching her daughters, without meaning to be small, to disappear, to blend in. That's what trauma does, but it's also what dignity restores. Last year, Turning Point served 9,664 men, women, and children, each with a story deserving of dignity and stability. Each one of them came through our doors at a moment when they needed someone to stand with them, and we did. At Turning Points, we don't just provide programs, we provide a full system of stability services, free medical and free dental care, benefit support, rental assistance, prescriptions, navigation, showers, clothing, bikes, and so much more, all provided at no cost. Last year alone, the values of those direct services exceeded $9.3 million. And on top of that, our volunteers, who are the heart of our work, donated more than $1.8 million worth of time and service. Together, that means that Turning Point's delivered over $11 million in community impact last year, right here in Manatee County. Impact like that isn't just measured in numbers. When families have stable housing, access to health care, and crises are prevented early, the entire community benefits, and it has a ripple effect. Fewer people end up in the emergency room. Fewer families face eviction or homelessness. Fewer parents lose their job or fall deeper into crisis. At Turning Points, it's not just about fixing the teeth or filling the prescription or giving somebody rent. It's about restoring stability, rebuilding health, opening doors, and interrupting generational cycles. But the reality is, we know that more families are one setback away from homelessness than ever before. The numbers continue to rise for families who are working hard but still can't meet the basics, our ALICE families. There isn't enough affordable housing stock, and rents continue to outpace wages. And for a child, even one eviction can forever change their future. This is why prevention matters. This is why the partnership with the school district matters. And this is why you matter. The future we want for our children doesn't happen by accident. It has to be built by us, not someday, but right now. So let's choose a future where families stand on stable ground, where children sleep in warm beds at night, and no child ever has to endure the trauma of homelessness. Together, we can build that future. Thank you. I get to stay up and intro the next part because it's my favorite part of the morning, and those are the stories that bring everything to life. It brings the mission to life. So we're going to kick it off with a video this morning.
I came to Turning Point in 2011. I needed help myself. I was facing homelessness. I had moved here from Texas and was trying to get my life together and was having a lot of difficulty. I attended AA and was going to meetings, but I just needed a purpose and a focus in my life. And Miss Martha had seen me do some data entry on the computer, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, you got to come volunteer. I need somebody to do some data entry." So I agreed to do that. It gave me somewhere to go during the day. Turning Point saved my life in that respect and gave me a focus and a purpose every day to start helping out. And then it wasn't long before they needed help in the food stamp department. In fact, it was for a short period of time. And so I went to work in food stamps, and there was a turnover in there, and pretty soon I was a senior food stamp person. I've just been doing food stamps for the last 14 and a half years there, and just paying it forward. It's been a godsend for me. And when people that I help in the food stamp department, want to say, well, you don't know where I've been, and you don't know where I come from, and yes, I do. I do know. I've been there, I've done that, and I turned it around. And it's possible for anybody to turn it around. I can't even begin to tell you how low my life had gotten. And if I can do it, anyone can.
Well, I came to Turning Points because my teeth were pretty bad, and I didn't know that not only were my teeth bad, but I had high blood pressure, And I found that out when I went in to check up to see what can be done with my teeth, to see if I could have anything done. And they quickly sent me over to have my blood pressure checked and took care of me first in that way to make sure my health was good. They did the last extractions of my teeth, which was only like 3 left. When I went in the next time, I guess they had done x-rays and found out they had to do an operation to get rid of some of the bone and some gums to make my teeth fit.
So Eugene came to me 1 year after his extraction. He had some tori, which is a benign bone growth on the inside part of his mandible. That would make it impossible for his dentures to fit. So because we had this machine, which is a special machine to cut the bone smoothly and with no pain, he was able to get his dentures. We removed the tori from inside his mouth, and 1 year after his extraction, he was able to have his dentures done and his smiles back.
And then I went in and they started to do the fittings. And then after that, teeth. And I've been happy with them ever since. I went to a few places in Bradenton here. One was very, very expensive, which kind of threw me off of doing anything at all, because the amount was just so outrageous that it would take me a year to collect it without anything. And then a friend of mine at work told me that he had gone to Turning Points. Lo and behold, we got in there. It was like I said, you know, it was wonderful. They made sure my health was great, and then after that, teeth.
Before we went to Turning Points, his self-confidence was very low. After Turning Points, he got his self-confidence back. He smiles more, he's more outgoing. So it's definitely helps. Turning Points has been the best.
If I'm in pictures, you know, I'll close smile on my mouth like that, but now I'm you know, more animated, and yeah, it's fun. It's just more fun to just smile and not think of like, oh, don't smile, they'll see that you have no teeth. Everybody there treated me like, you know, like I was a celebrity, you know. I was kind of like, you know, every person that was involved, the doctor, the assistants, the receptionists.
These stories capture the true impact of Turning Points. And now, we're grateful to welcome guests who are here in person to share their own journeys. Their strength and resilience will inspire you. Please welcome T.J. Williams to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. You all know me as T.J. Williams, the Welcome Center Administrator, but I have a story to tell. I had a job and was doing really good in my life. Coming home from work one day, someone ran a red light and it changed everything. The accident nearly killed me. I couldn't go back to work and I lost my job, which snowballed and ended up losing my house. I will never forget seeing my life put out by the side of the road. It was terrible. I felt depressed and hopeless. Basically, losing everything, it makes you very sad and you go into depression. But I didn't give up. I called 211 and found out about Turning Points. I started going there because I lost my insurance, I lost everything, my medical, everything. So I was struggling and in a lot of pain. The medical team was incredible. They found out I was diabetic and helped me get that under control. I was able to get acupuncture for the pain relief and underwent surgery. Everyone really took care of me, and I started to get my health back. Once I was feeling better, I was able to get a job. So I reached back out to Turning Points to help me to get an apartment. The new apartment came just in time because my grandbabies needed me. And because I had a stable place to live, they did too. I was able to get custody, and they have been with me ever since. I wanted to give back to Turning Points for helping me, so I started volunteering there. Then a position opened up, and I was hired on staff. Now every day I'm there to give hope, help to people who are struggling. I thank God for Turning Points. They were there for me whenever I needed them, and now I'll be there for them whenever they need me. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story with us, TJ. We are so glad that you found Turning Points. We have scheduled not just one amazing story of hope this morning, but two. Unfortunately, our scheduled speaker, Mr. Barry Bryant, is not able to join us this morning. He had a serious fall a few days ago, and as much as he wanted to join us, he wasn't in his best shape to do so. We want to honor his story and his journey with Turning Points, so Mr. Bryant is allowing us to read his testimonial today. So please welcome Executive Director Kathleen Kramer back to the stage to read his testimonial.
That's Barry, Mr. Bryant, and these are his words. My mom was my rock. She passed away a few years ago, and she left me her house. She wanted to make sure I was cared for after she was gone. But life doesn't always go as we plan. After she passed, the hurricanes came through, and the roof was already in bad shape, but now there was gaping holes. A roofer came out and told me the whole roof would need to come off and be replaced. It was going to cost over $10,000. I'm on a fixed income, and there's no way I could afford that. All he could do is put a blue tarp on the roof before he left. That tarp didn't last long. Every time it rained, the rain poured inside my house. It soaked the walls, the floors, everything I owned. Mold grew everywhere. It wasn't safe. It wasn't livable, but I had nowhere else to go, so I stayed. Eventually, code enforcement came by and ordered me to leave my home. I had nowhere to go. I was scared, and I didn't know what would happen next. I talked to the mayor, who connected me to Habitat for Humanity. Habitat said they could repair my home, but I would need to live somewhere for 8 to 10 months, and I just didn't have the money for that. I was devastated. I was so close, but I had no friends or family that I could stay with, and I knew I couldn't afford to move out. Then another miracle happened. Kathleen and David at Turning Points heard about what I was going through, and they went to work for me. I filled out an application, and David sat down with me. He listened. He understood. Turning Points got me into the Days Inn right away. For the first time in a long time, I slept in a bed that wasn't covered in mold. Then David worked with one of his landlords to find an apartment for me. It would take a few weeks to get it ready, so Turning Points paid for my hotel during that time. I couldn't believe it. When I finally walked into the apartment, I had the biggest surprise of my life. It was fully furnished. New furniture, dishes, a couch, a TV, a bed. Things I thought I had lost, things I never thought I'd have again. Now Turning Points is covering most of my rent for the 8 months while my home is being repaired. And when it's ready, I get to take all that furniture with me. I get to take everything and start a fresh life. They still check on me. Margie even brought me a new walker last week just because she knew I needed one. I am blessed, truly, truly blessed. And I am thankful for God, for Turning Points, and for everyone here today who makes stories like mine possible.
Thank you, Kathleen, for sharing Barry's story. Barry's story shows exactly what Turning Points does. They don't just help someone in crisis, they bring partners together to make real change happen. To support Barry, Turning Points worked with Habitat for Humanity and the city of Bradenton, the mayor's here, councilwoman, and then rallied local businesses. Walmart donated a TV and furniture, Goodwill added more furnishings, the Caring Collective arranged the funds for a new mattress, and Mattress Firm discounted one when they heard Barry's story. Turning Points brought together dozens of people, agencies, and donors so Barry could sleep in safely and start rebuilding his life. Here's the reality. TJ and Barry's journeys reflect so many others in our community who are striving to move forward but need support along the way. That is what Turning Points does, and this is what your generosity makes possible. I'd like to invite David Kraft up to the stage. David is the Turning Points board chair and a founding member of the Be the Key Society. Mr. David Kraft.
This is what Turning Points does. Going by a script is not usually what I do. But I'm going with it because Kathleen will really love me if I do it from the script. Before I begin, I want to thank TJ and Barry for sharing their stories. I also want to congratulate Latasha on joining the Army and Dana on how far she has come in her healing. I'm so glad that you all found Turning Points. It is my great honor to serve on this board alongside caring, passionate, and insightful leaders, and to work with an incredible staff that shows up for this community every single day in big ways. That was not in the script. I've had moments in my own life when the pain and anxiety of struggle was crippling. I consider it a privilege to be part of ensuring that Turning Points is often or is here for others when they feel like they're drowning. 5 years ago, we launched the Be the Key Society, a collective of people who believe no one in our community should have to face life's hardest moments alone. It's a way for individuals, families, and businesses to invest in the impact Turning Points makes in our community through a 5-year pledge of $1,000 or more per year. A multi-year commitment isn't just generosity, it's strategy. Your 5-year pledge gives us financial stability, the kind of stability that means we don't begin each January at square one financially. It gives us the confidence to make responsible, forward-looking decisions about staffing, program expansion, and innovation. In other words, your financial support fuels our courage to innovate. And not to scare you, but we have a lot of innovation courage. And we need more. We have a lot of innovation energy. Also not in the script, but I like it. It was good words. It allows us to meet rising needs, strengthen services, and say yes to more of the people who depend on us. Kathleen told me, hey, I want to plug you in for just a couple of minutes. Can you talk about our admin rate? I said, yeah, I love to talk about our admin rate. That's the percentage of every dollar that's donated that goes towards overhead rather than going towards programmatic response and services. Just so everyone knows, you don't have to comb through the 990 for this. It's at or below 10%. 10%, meaning 90 cents of every dollar goes directly towards services. That level of efficiency is why we hold a 4-star Charity Navigator rating. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we have a small and mighty staff, but we could not do what we do without our volunteers. Would literally be impossible. So with that sub 10% admin rate. Now, you've heard the stories and you've seen the impact. Let's look at how we can continue this powerful community work together. Please join me in welcoming Be the Key Society member and Turning Points volunteer, Tom Seguin. Tom, where are you?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for coming out this morning. My name is Tom Seguin. I've been in Bradenton for 51 years, but I was born and raised in Detroit, and I've been volunteering at Turning Points for over 3 years. Thank you. Now, when I grew up in Detroit, I grew up in poverty. My mom and dad were divorced when I was 5 years old. My dad came back from World War II, and he was schizophrenic, and they used to call it shell shock, battle weary. Now they call it PTSD. But after they were divorced, my dad would leave, and he'd be gone sometimes for 3 years at a time. And then he'd come back and he'd stay with my grandparents a little bit, and he'd be gone again. So we were raised in poverty. We were on welfare. We were on aid to dependent children, where we'd get those blocks of cheese and powdered eggs and powdered milk. And so I knew a lot of other people that were in poverty as well. And thus, Turning Points, it really has a soft spot in my heart, and I just feel so good about being able to do something to help those people. So what I do at Turning Points, there's I don't know if all of you are familiar with the building, but on the east end of the building, there's a room called the patio. And that's where the clients check in for their day services. So they have to have a Turning Points card, and they come in, and I have a list, and it's columns for their name, what services they want, including showers, clothing, laundry, and they can come in and they can take a shower every day. Once a week, they can have their laundry done, and they drop it off, and it gets washed and dried and folded, and then they get it back that same day or the next day. Every month, they can come in and get new clothes. They can get bicycles. Turning Points truly, truly is an amazing organization and resource for these people. And seeing the gratitude and happiness Turning Points brings is why we decided to join the Be the Key Society. So at this point, table captains, will you please pass out the pledge sheets? And I'll run through the pledge sheet and kind of explain it a little bit. Okay, looking at the top of the pledge sheet, for our members whose pledges are nearing completion, I hope you'll renew your 5-year pledge. And if you're ready to take the next step in your giving, this is your moment to join a community of givers driving real, measurable change. The first pledge of $1,000 a year for 5 years, that's $83.33 a month. With your gift, you can open doors by replacing lost birth certificates for 25 people each year. And a birth certificate is often the first step to getting a Florida ID, finding housing, and securing employment. It is literally the start of stability. Number 2, a pledge of $2,500 a year for 5 years. That's $208 a month. This provides new smiles for 8 people each year through the Project Smile Denture program. And a new smile means health, employability, and dignity. Pledge of $10,000 a year. This provides a full year of housing assistance and wraparound services for a family struggling with homelessness. It keeps a family stable, safe, and moving forward. And a gift of love pledge of $20,000 a year for 5 years will provide life-saving medication for 214 individuals each year. That means stability in health, in work, and in daily life. So the next line on the sheet is for those who prefer to give at a different level. Just tell us what you'd like to give and for how many years. If you'd like to give a gift of stock or another asset, or if you simply have great ideas, please check the box that says, I have other thoughts to share. If you already have an active pledge, please consider adding another year, as Donna and I are doing, or increasing your annual commitment so that we can continue building stability for the people we serve. So, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Whatever you give today, including simply being here, we are grateful. You're helping real people move forward. And when you're finished filling out your pledge forms, please fold them in half and pass them to the table captain. And I'm the table captain, but I'll get them at the table. Thank you for being the key to someone's new beginning. Thank you all.
Thank you, Tom. I want to take another moment to thank all of our speakers today. Your positivity is an inspiration, so thank you, and we wish you and your families the very best. I also want to thank all of the Turning Point staff, the board of directors who are here, all of the volunteers who are here, METV, who has helped to film this wonderful breakfast this morning, the Palmetto Marriott, and your table captains for all the time and energy they have given to make this wonderful event possible. As we wrap up this wonderful morning, we want to invite you to join Turning Points at their Turning Points campus for their open house on December 16th from 5 to 7 p.m. to take a tour, meet their staff, and see the impact firsthand of your generosity in action. Once again, thank you for joining us this morning, and happy holidays, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.